My name is Bill. Welcome to NightTerrors Viewers Research, Monday night edition. First episode number 1. We're format transitioning here, people. And tonight's the first day of that format transition. Oh no, it's Taco has arrived. It says hello to everybody. Let's introduce here. Gotcha Man says good evening. Welcome, Gotcha Man. I've got to turn off my air conditioning back here. Sometimes it works through the curtain. Not today. There we go. Oh, cool. Oh no, it's Taco with the first suggestion. The fairy flag, Dunvegan Castle. Eli Redshirt is here. Welcome, Eli. Good to see you, sir. Brooke Birch has arrived. Welcome, Brooke. Taco says, turn off the air conditioning. I'm turning on the heat. It's freezing here. I got to get that suggestion from Taco. Verpeen has arrived. Welcome, Verpeen. We're doing a format transit. Well, we're transitioning part of the format tonight, people. 4711 says good evening. Eli says cultivate and elevate. Sounds like good advice. Eli says, as a topic on YouTube by a channel, and I'm not sure the name. Unfortunately, part of our... Zerithian has arrived. Welcome, Zerithian. Unfortunately, part of our format changes, we have eliminated video. No more video, folks. Part of the format change. It's going to be 100% Bill this evening. So you'll just have to suffer along. Yeah, we're starting our format transition this evening, people. Even the Saturday show will have no video henceforth. Taco says 100% Bill. Thank you, Taco. Bill 24/7. Exactly. 24/7, 365. A camera will always be on. Bill O'Rama says green tea. Welcome, green tea. Shazbot, welcome. David Bryce, welcome. Oh no, it's Taco says excellent. I got to get that idea there. The Dunvegan Castle. There we go. I got it this time. Come on. You can get it. There we go. Got it. Okay. That's the first idea from Taco. Sounds Bill-tastic, says Zerithian. We will be on the internet, but no more video as part of our format transition. Let's see what else is going on here. I want to do more. Oh yeah, I want to rename. Just to know where the first suggestion is from Taco. Anybody else want to throw suggestions in there? You're more than welcome. Bill's Big House. More like Bill's Big House. Big Bill House, says Gotcha Man. Green Tea says Billapalooza. Zerithian says Bill-tastic. Taco says Bill in the house. One Sean Bond has arrived. Welcome, One Sean. And family. We are starting a transition to the new format where we do no video and thereby avoid any copyright strikes whatsoever. Another suggestion from Taco. Thank you, Taco. We have 2 suggestions. The rollovers from last week, I'm saving for a show I'm going to be putting up when I take my one-day vacation. It's coming up end of September. So I'm saving those rollovers. You'll be seeing them then end of September. Gotchaman says Bill's house party. That sounds better. He has a live DJ and a dance party. Interviews people in a soundproof room. I considered interviews. Maybe we should do interviews. I mean, the only thing I've decided really is that there's going to be no more video. We got to fill the time somehow. Maybe we should have a video as a part of every show. Taco says, I'm coming over to the party. Good. We got a topic from Derpine. Thank you, Derpine. I.E. Dovland. Anyone else? Your topics are welcome. And anyone who's already contributed, your topics are welcome. Okay, let's start off with Samono's taco shipped me this morning, or this evening. This morning for taco. And that is a scholarship, college scholarship, that she is starting in the name of her mother. The Jean Teasdale bursary, that's Scotland, bursary means scholarship. The Jean Teasdale Scholarship 2024, a call for applications, honoring the fact that Jean Teasdale created oral history, Western Australia. That's pretty cool. Can we look her up on the internet? Let's go here and I think I had to look up bursary. The Onion, Jean Teasdale, Facebook. How about we'll put oral history too, maybe? God help us on that search. Here we go. No need for prayer. Oh, this is actually at the site of Western Australia Oral History. Both these organizations, the Oral History of Western Australia, the OHWA, and the Oral History Australia, OHA, both owe their early beginnings to the energy and enthusiasm of pioneering West Australian oral historian Jean Teasdale, a social worker turned historian. In 1975, was one of the first two full-time interviewers employed to work on the Batty Library's oral history program. There she is. Oral history. Born in 1928. Conducted more than 60 interviews for the oral history program. Anyway, if you guys want to find out about this, it's at oralhistorywa.org.au for Australia. Pretty cool stuff. Thank you, Taco. Ohms has arrived. Welcome, Ohms. Taco says she thought the New York Oral History Society might be interested because she spoke to a lot of American oral historians. Cool. Oh, you bet, Taco. No problem. I'm going back here for my topics now. Do I have the CTAC yet? Let me see if I have the CTAC already. Editing that. I do have that. Okay, what's next? After that is... Last words from Shazbot. Thank you, Shazbot. Got it. Another from Verpine. Thank you, Verpine. The Hoosick Tunnel. Gotcha, man, with an interesting topic about twins. My wife is a twin. Carrington event from Eli. Thank you, Eli. All right, let's start out with Taco here first. Do it. The Fairy Flag / Dunvegan Castle. Fairy Flag Dunvegan. Dunvegan Castle home. That ought to work. The Fairy Flag, and there's an actual flag. Wow. And there it is. It looks pretty big. Look at the size of those mirrors compared to the mirrors. The mirrors are what, maybe 6 foot or something? So this is like maybe 8 foot tall. Open image, a new tab. The Fairy Flag. Wrong one. Oh, those look like stitches. The stitching you could see there. So maybe the red is where it tore. I could see the stitches there too. Stitches there. They're seen better here. The Fairy Flag of Dunvegan is one of Clan MacLeod's most treasured possessions, probably from Syria or Rhodes, the Colossus of Rhodes. Where is Rhodes? Where was Rhodes? Where was Rhodes Colossus? Close enough. On the Greek island of Rhodes. So it's an island near Greece that's called Rhodes. Woven of silk in the 4th century. Legend has it the sacred clan banner has miraculous powers. When unfurled in battle, the clan would invariably snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. The traditional tales about its origin can be split into 2 distinct themes: fairies and crusaders. The stories of the Fae are difficult to relate to fact and often come about as a substitute for forgotten truth. The connection with the Crusades can be linked to the only scientific information we have about the Fairy Flag's origin. When Sir Reginald MacLeod had the Fairy Flag conserved and mounted in its sealed frame by the Victoria and Albert Museum in London, he listened while Mr. Wace, one of the museum's experts, set out his theory about its origins, including the historical evidence that the Norseman Harald Hardrada, one of the early ancestors of the chiefs of MacLeod, while on an expedition to plunder the pilgrim routes of the Middle East, had brought a famous banner back to Britain, where he was killed in 1066. Reginald listened politely and said, "Mr. Wace, you may believe that, but I know that it was given to my ancestor by the fairies." To which Mr. Wace replied, "Sir Reginald, I bow to your superior knowledge." Because he wanted to keep his job. MacLeod on a crusade to the Holy Land received food and shelter from a hermit in a mountain pass. The hermit warned him that an evil spirit, a destroyer of true believers, guarded the pass, and that he needed a piece of the true cross to proceed. Wow, those must be rare. Here's a part of the true cross. However, the MacLeod slew the spirit the daughter of thunder. Before she expired, she revealed to him the future of his clan, directing him to take her girdle and make a banner of it, and to make a staff of her spear. That's the Crusader version. That's not even the fairy version. That's the version of that's taken from the Crusades. European says the Colossus of Rhodes was one of the 7 ancient wonders of the world. Yeah, I wish I could have seen it. Okay, that was not the fairy version. That was the Crusader version. That's the part, supposedly the part closest to fact. I wonder where that pass is that he, where that mountain pass is that he, where he tarried. Here's the fairy tower version. There's 2 fairy versions, looks like. Oh yeah, 2 fairy versions. One about a tower and one about a bridge. The tower version. One night when there was a feast being held at Dunvegan. What is this Dunvegan anyway? I gotta see Dunvegan. Dunvegan Castle.com. This is the same website. Look for the, yeah, it is. Oh, it's huge. And huge and thin, like Vlad Dracula's castle. Indeed. One night when there was a feast being held at Dunvegan, a nurse put the chief's son in his cradle in the fairy tower. I guess one of the towers is the fairy tower. And joined the party in the keep. The baby became restless and kicked off his blanket, whereupon a fairy came to comfort him, wrapping him in a silken shawl. When the nurse collected the child and brought it down in his fairy robe, the room became filled with the sound of unseen singers, singing the fairy lullaby. What is the fairy lullaby? Where's AI when you need it? I guess we have to try Google for that, huh? We copy the question. Oh, here it is. Answer with AI. Fairy lullaby refers to 2 distinct entities: the character, the musician. The fairy lullaby character is a dream fairy who sings and plays her magical harp. Does that follow? With the sound of unseen singers singing the fairy lullaby. Fairy lullaby musician or ethereal. A musician specializing in soothing melodies. Additionally, there's a traditional Gaelic tune called A Fairy Lullaby. I left my darling lying here, collected by Henry White in the Celtic Lyre, around the end of the 19th century. The tune has a specific melody and lyrics, translated by Lachlan McBean. In summary, Fairy Lullaby encompasses a traditional Gaelic tune. So it's a certain singular tune, I take it. The bridge version of the fairies. Hey, Bad Wolf. Once upon a time, a fairy married a MacLeod chief. They lived together for a year, and a year and a day, after which the fairy had to return to fairyland. They parted company at Fairy Bridge near Dunvegan. So Dunvegan has a fairy tower, and there's also a fairy bridge nearby. As a farewell present, I wonder if we could take a look at that. The fairy bridge at Dunvegan. Ferry Bridge Road. Where's Google Maps when you need it? How do you get to the right side here? I hate it when they cut it off like this. There's no slide bar. This browser rots. Ferry Bridge. In China, no. Ferry Flag. Ferry Bridge. Takes its name from Dunvegan, a clan whose legends frequently include fairies, not least the fairy flag, which is supposedly the clan's good luck charm. Yeah, well, I want to see the bridge. Sky is an island. It says Ferry Bridge, Sky. There it is. I agree to all cookies. The old bridge, the new bridge. Uh-oh. They tore down the goddamn bridge. Oh, no. The new bridge lies upstream. Okay. They didn't tear down the old one. How close can we get to this one? Related pictures. View gallery. The old bridge. Open link in new tab, please. Looks pretty sturdy to me. Definitely would hold a carriage and a few horses. No 18-wheelers though, please. As a farewell present, the fairy who married the chief gave him the banner telling him that whenever he was hard-pressed in battle, waving it would bring victory, whatever the odds. She warned him, however, that it would produce this magic 3 times only. During 2 major clan battles, which were documented at the time, the chief waved the fairy flag, which helped secure victory. Belief in the mystical power of the flag remains strong to this day. In 1939, a fire in the south wing threatened to destroy the castle. When the fairy flag was carried to safety, the wind dropped and the flames were seen to abate. During the Second World War, pilots from the clan carried its picture as a talisman. Dame Flora reportedly offered to wave the flag on the white cliffs of Dover to harness its magical power to repel the German invasion. Whatever the truth, the chief and the clan have a profound respect for the fairy flag and its mystical power. Skelly, welcome. Skelly says, Edgar Allan Poe goes hard. Good suggestion from 4711. Thank you. We got it, 47. Gotcha, man, on portions of the cross. That's ridiculous, come to think of it. Romans probably recycled it for the next crucifixion. He didn't get entombed while still nailed to it. Next up is we'll come back to Taco. But next up, we're going to select the next in line for Peen. Taco with some dark humor. The disappearance of Dublin, Wisconsin. That sounds interesting. Legend about the disappearance of Dublin, Wisconsin. Historic mysteries. A couple of good-looking ones here. Let's close stuff to the right. We close stuff to the right? Nah, just keep it there for a while. Let's open this one and this one. Q98.5, Rockford's New Country Station. Maybe later. Have you heard about the Wisconsin town that completely disappeared? Legend says one Wisconsin town and all of its residents completely vanished in the early 1990s. Here's the post I saw on the Strange Wisconsin Facebook group. DuckDuckGo block this post to prevent Facebook from trapping you. Unblock the post, please. This post is no longer available. What happens here? Dublin, Wisconsin, the town that wasn't there, at historicmysteries.com by Lauren Dillon. An article from last year, almost exactly to the year 1 year ago, August 29th, 2023. In the heart of Wisconsin. Ooh, we can listen to it. Yes, please. Our new substitute for video. Someone else talks for a while.
Dublin, Wisconsin, the town that wasn't there. In the heart of Wisconsin, there was once a small town called Dublin, but then something strange happened. Dublin disappeared in the 1990s. That is right. An entire town with buildings and residents vanished in thin air and left nothing behind. This surely makes no sense, right? But here is the true story of Dublin, the town that vanished. Dublin, Wisconsin. Most towns keep records of things like public officials, property records, and even the individuals that are born and die in a town. On top of that, all states in the U.S. have official state archives, which are full of documents charting the history of every town in the state, census data, etc. Even odd items are recorded, like the first stop sign in a town that someone's great-grandma stole as a prank, that sort of thing. With that in mind, finding records related to Dublin, Wisconsin, should be easy. Getting information from an archive is simple, and there is a lot you can access without needing to file a Freedom of Information Act, FOIA, request. What makes Dublin so fascinating is that there are no records of a town with such a name. The town was not renamed or altered its zoning, and there is no map of the state that includes the coordinates of a town called Dublin, Wisconsin. Yet people claim they remember the town, had friends or relatives who lived there, have visited it, and a few folks have souvenirs to prove they have been to Dublin. How could an entire town and its residents suddenly disappear into the ether?
Okay, we had a link from Gotcha Man I ignored. I shouldn't have. Dame Flora from the Scott story. Dame Flora MacLeod. He found a link to Wikipedia from the fairy story. There she is. She was an English actress and star. Particularly renowned for her performances in plays demanding dramatic and emotional intensity. Born in County Durham. No, you're behind. That's the wrong Flora. Oh, okay. Thank you, Gotcha Man. The wrong Flora. How could a town have disappeared?
Theories. So, we have a town that people remember, but which apparently never existed. Several theories have been suggested that might explain the disappearance of an entire town. The first theory is that Dovland was destroyed by an earthquake which could have caused a massive sinkhole that swallowed up the town. Someone would have noticed, right? Okay, the second theory is that Dovland was destroyed by damming. Over 900 dams were built in the state of Wisconsin, and over the years many have been removed or abandoned. In the past, Wisconsin has experienced dams bursting, leading to large-scale flooding and destruction or near destruction of towns. Did flooding wash away Dovland? A third theory as to why Dovland seemingly vanished from existence is that Dovland might have been destroyed by a military science experiment that went horribly wrong. This sounds ominous, to be sure, but is most likely speculation from those who think the rule of cool applies to the real world. The fourth theory is similar to the third. Perhaps Dovland was a military town that ceased to exist after the operation or war ended. Such temporary towns are known, but there is no corroborating evidence in the memories of those who recalled Dovland to suggest this. The fifth theory is that all of Dovland's residents moved away because the economy failed. This would make more sense, and indeed such ghost towns exist all across the United States. But this would mean that the remnants of Dovland would still exist, and that seems to not be the case. In Picks, 8 ghost towns, and why they were abandoned. Hoovervilles, American shanty towns from 100 years ago. The sixth theory neatly solves this, however. Perhaps Dovland still exists, but is invisible. Surprisingly alien involvement, the obvious next step, is not however tied to the mystery of Dovland. But could extraterrestrial beings with advanced technology abduct an entire town, leaving no sign of life or habitation behind? Dismantling the theories. While the 6, possibly 7 if you believe in aliens, theories for what might have happened to Dovland, Wisconsin, sound rational, these theories can be debunked. The idea that an earthquake occurred that was so strong it leveled the town is unrealistic. There are no fault lines that run through the state of Wisconsin, so an earthquake with an epicenter in Wisconsin strong enough to decimate a town is not possible. That isn't to say that Wisconsinites have never felt an earthquake in their state. The most recent earthquake that was felt in Wisconsin was in March 2012. This 1.5 magnitude earthquake occurred in Clintonville in Waupaca County, and reports say the quake rattled the windows across the county. Most earthquakes that have been felt in Wisconsin have epicenters in places like southwest Illinois, Ohio, Missouri, and Canada. No towns in Wisconsin have experienced more than minor damage due to an earthquake. Because there have not been any significant earthquakes in Wisconsin in the state's history, the suggestion that one caused a massive sinkhole lacks support. Besides, if a sinkhole swallowed up an entire town, did the state just fill the hole and act like the town never existed? Maybe in a movie that might occur, but not in real life. While damming has led to the destruction of several towns in Wisconsin, there are records of the towns existing before the flooding occurred. Even after flooding or a burst dam, structures, trash, trees, and building foundations are still left behind. There is no way a flood destroyed Dovland and took all the debris with it as it flowed away. Dovland's disappearance due to a military experiment gone horribly wrong is a creative idea, but one that would have left evidence behind. For example, the Ukrainian city of Korneville was the location of a nuclear accident that destroyed the city. But there are still abandoned buildings and signs of life that once thrived in the city. The destruction was to the environment, which is still incredibly radioactive 37 years after the accident. Even if the military tested a bomb on the town of Dovland, there would be debris and things like bomb fragments that people would have found by now. Drowned for profit? Haunting Ace Redo, the lost Spanish town. The crash at Crush, a deadly stunt in a make-believe town. Similarly, the theory that Dovland was a military town that ceased to exist after the conflict or operation ended is unrealistic. In the U.S., there are numerous abandoned military complexes and bases. There is the North Concord USAF station in Vermont, Fort Pike in Louisiana, Fort Tilden in New York, and the Titan I missile complex in rural Washington. All of these locations have been abandoned. All that remains is graffiti-covered dilapidated buildings, concrete bomb shelters, and rusting equipment. If Dovland were a former military town that dissolved after the military left, there would be signs that the area was once home to the military, mostly abandoned structures where local kids go to do some underage drinking or recreational drugs. But there are none. The final theory that residents of Dovland, Wisconsin, moved away due to a failing economy is possible. Boom towns popped up across the U.S. when oil, gold, coal, and silver were found, and miners came to work. These small towns were prosperous when the resources that stimulated the economy were in abundance. However, when the resources ran out, the miners would relocate to the next boom town, leaving behind the iconic Western ghost towns. Like all the other theories, if Dovland had been abandoned when the economy began to fail, there would still be things like buildings left behind. The idea that Dovland became invisible is fantastical, and it sounds like the plot of an episode of The Twilight Zone. So what was Dovland, Wisconsin? Hoax. We do not know who started the legend of Dovland, Wisconsin, but we do know that until 2015 there were no mentions of a Dovland or a town in Wisconsin that suddenly vanished. The internet is full of...
No debunking, please. No debunking. Next up. From Shazbot. To it. Last words of famous people. Gotta do some paperwork over here for a second. There we go. Delete those we've already done. Next. 11 famous last words, including Oscar Wilde and Leonard Nimoy. That was good. At mariecurie.org.uk. Yes, please accept the cookies. Ever imagine what your last words in life would be? Bob Marley. The Jamaican musician and pioneer of reggae spoke these words to his son Ziggy before Marley died of cancer in 1981, age 36. Money can't buy life. Karl Marx. These were the last words shouted by the German philosopher to his housekeeper in 1883 after she asked if he had anything he wanted to say. Last words are for fools who have not said enough. The iconic Mexican artist, renowned Frida Kahlo, renowned for her groundbreaking self-portrait series, recorded this final sentiment in her personal diary a few days before her death in 1954. I hope the exit is joyful and hope never to return. That might be the last words in Kurt Vonnegut's novel, Slaughterhouse 5. Oh well, I think I'm thinking of a tombstone inscription, not last words. Everything was beautiful and nothing hurt. Kurt Vonnegut, you got to hand it to him. on the tombstone, everything was beautiful and nothing hurt. Good author, that guy. From Joan Crawford, the parting shot of formidable Hollywood legend Joan Crawford was aimed at her housekeeper, who had begun praying aloud at the actor's bedside. Damn it, don't you dare ask God to help me. Winston Churchill, never once to mince his words. The Prime Minister who led Britain through World War II kept things to a point. I'm bored with it all. Lauded as the Empress of the Blues, Bessie Smith was one of the most celebrated and beloved singers of the 20s and 30s, before her death in 1937. So she enjoyed that time of tremendous growth in the U.S., and that great economy before the Great Depression. Actually, Depression started in what, like 33 or something? But at least she had the 20s. I'm going, but I'm going in the name of the Lord. A humbling reminder that even a queen must bow to the passage of time. The 16th century monarch died at 70 years of age before being interred at Westminster Abbey in London. Queen Elizabeth I. All my possessions for a moment of time. "70 years. The playwright died peacefully, Noel Coward. Noel Coward died peacefully in his sleep at his home in Jamaica in 1974. Wow, 74. After an evening with friends. A memorial stone was unveiled in Poets' Corner at Westminster Abbey by the Queen Mother, who said, "I came because he was my friend." Noel Coward, good night, my darlings. I'll see you tomorrow. Charlotte Bronte, a haunting lament from one of the most celebrated novelists of the 19th century, who shared with the writer's husband, Arthur Bell Nichols. The couple were married less than a year when Bronte died in 1855. Oh, I'm not going to die, am I? He will not separate us. We have been so happy. I wonder how young she died, Charlotte Bronte. That should be part of the preface to the quote. How long was her life, right? To 1855 from, can't see over there, 1816. So, "39 years old. Yeah, that rots. That's not good. From Leonard Nimoy, the beloved Star Trek actor delivered his final thought to the Twitter sphere a few days before his death in 2015. LLAP is shorthand for live long and prosper, the classic catchphrase of Nimoy's TV alter ego, Spock. A life is like a garden. Perfect moments can be had, but not preserved except in memory. Live long and prosper. And gardens don't last long, really, do they? That's not good. You're real cheery tonight, Bill. Waiting to the end, the Irish playwright Oscar Wilde is reported to have spoken these words to friends in the weeks leading up to his death in 1900. "My wallpaper and I are fighting a duel to the death. One or the other of us has to go." Excuse me. Coffee. Next up, we are going to go to, oh, I missed one from, I'm so sorry, Taco. I accidentally deleted one of yours. Do I have another one? I don't. Oh, gosh. I'm so sorry, Taco. I deleted your second suggestion. I'm going to go to Gotcha Man next. We have another from Verpine, but I'm going to hold that for a bit since we had one from Verpine a little bit ago. Well, since we're going at this pace, maybe one per is a fair thing. Maybe one per is a fair thing. We have a lot of people in attendance. Let me see over here. We have 15 people on Twitch and on YouTube. Where is it? Refresh. Go to channel. Infinite Sky asks, what is this? This is the beginning of the format swing for the channel. We have eliminated video. No more video, even on Saturday shows. It's the first time we've tried it, and it's going to be interesting this Saturday to find out. I have all my readings, but none of my videos for this Saturday. We're going to have to see how that goes. There we are. Let me click on here. And 13 on YouTube, which is 28. Not a bad total. 28's not bad. Pausing YouTube. Next up, from Gotcha Man. Everyone is having twins. Answer with AI. Unprecedented twin birth trends. That's a debunking site. Not finding it immediately. Checking page 2. More twinning in humans than ever before. There we go. Since the 1980s, the global twinning rate has increased by 1/3, from 9 to 12 twin deliveries per 1,000. That's from a governmental site. So why is someone debunking it? Just to get views, probably. That's why we don't debunk here. It's all crap, all that debunking crap. More twinning in humans than ever before. What if there's an explanation? Why is everyone having twins? And that's a common search. Advice on how to have twins. That ought to be interesting. You'd think it would be up near the top. Some scientific study. Popular mechanics. Humans are having more twins now than at any time in history. Okay, the rate keeps rising for 2 big reasons. Changes to family demographics over time, as well as higher rates of in vitro fertilization, and an increase in older first-time parents. So 3 reasons. Rapine says, no wonder you're coughing. That American coffee is clogging you, says Taco. Try some good Fremantle coffee. I'm sorry I missed your comment, Verpine. Yeah, I don't get much time to attend to the chat in this new format. My apologies. Next up is Eli Redshirt. Who wishes to know? About the Carrington event of the 1850s. I think we can just say Carrington event. History's greatest solar storm, right? So far, in recorded history. Let's do this one. From March of this year, what if the Carrington event, the largest solar storm ever recorded, happened today? If a solar storm as big as the Carrington event struck today, it could lead to years. It could lead to years-long power outages. Why is that? In 1859, British astronomer Richard Carrington saw a blast of white light on the surface of the sun. This was the Carrington event, and it is the largest recorded solar storm ever recorded. The author really wrote that. It's the largest recorded solar storm ever recorded. How about the largest solar storm ever recorded? It was linked with extraordinary auroras, northern and southern lights. They were visible in the sky near both the poles and the equator, from Canada to Australia. The enormous solar outburst also caused electrical disruptions from Paris to Boston. Of course, communications were back then by telegraph, I believe. While the Carrington event may seem like history, there are many concerns about what might happen if an event as powerful as, or even more powerful than, the Carrington event were to strike Earth today, now that humanity is far more dependent on electricity. I guess that's the one right there. That's the drawing, Carrington drawing of the solar flare, perhaps. Or the solar, whatever they call it. Sunspots. In 1859, in the town of Redhill outside of London, Carrington was investigating a group of dark specks on the sun known as sunspots, when he detected what he later described as a singular outbreak of light, which lasted about 5 minutes. This was the first solar flare ever seen and reported. Taco says, what would happen if you had solar panels in a solar storm? Good question. Magnetic sensors at the Kew Observatory in London detected extraordinary magnetic disturbances on the Earth. Beginning 2 days prior to 5 days following the Carrington event. So magnetic disturbances being a warning. Why have I never heard that before? Especially on the August 28th, and then again on September 2nd, when the Carrington event occurred. They may have been the most intense auroras in the past 160 years. They may have caused the most intense auroras in the past 160 years. Luminous waves rolled up in quick succession as far as the zenith. I guess this is an aurora description. Some of brilliancy sufficient to cast perceptible shadow on the ground, the Times of London reported in 1859. The colorful displays were so bright that people in Missouri could read by the atmospheric light after midnight. According to an 1859 report in the Weekly West, gold miners in the Rocky Mountains woke up and made coffee, bacon, and eggs at 1 a.m., thinking the sun had risen on a cloudy morning. Because you got to get that gold. Here we go. Telegraph lines experienced one of the most startling as well as singular electrical phenomena, according to the Washington Star. in 1859, when a superabundance of electricity in the air enabled telegraph machines to send messages from New York to Pittsburgh without the aid of batteries, which was their normal power source. Sparks flew from telegraph machines in Gay Paris, according to a report in the Illustrated London News. And telegraph operator Frederick Royce in Washington, D.C., reported receiving a severe electric shock, which stunned him for an instant. Reported in the New York Times. He said an old man who was sitting facing me, and but a few feet distant, said that he saw a spark of fire jump from my forehead. From his forehead. All in all, the Carrington event affected almost half of the telegraphic stations in the U.S., according to a study in 2016. Okay, what could happen today? The world has become far more dependent on electricity than it was when the Carrington event occurred. Now it might cause unprecedented damage. Lloyd's of London estimated that electrical outages from a Carrington-level event might lead to $2.6 trillion in lost revenue for the North American power industry. They also found global blackouts up to years long might occur. Years long, blackouts years long. Because an event could simultaneously damage multiple high-voltage transformers that are difficult to replace. Difficult. I guess they mean expensive. This could in turn result in major disruptions to financial markets, banking, telecommunications, business transactions, emergency and hospital services, the pumping of water, the pumping of fuel, the transportation of food. Might be nice if people became more dependent on local farms. Maybe it would be a good thing in the end. Destroy 10% of our technology. In a similar study, the journal Space Weather found that in the most extreme blackout scenario, impacting 2/3 of the U.S. population, the daily domestic economic loss would total $41 billion, plus an additional $7 billion loss by way of international supply chain disruptions. That's daily. Yeah, it could fry GPS satellites, right? No more GPS. Fry computers that are not in a Faraday cage. Oh, I heard that your microwave can act as a Faraday cage. So if you hear reports of unusual magnetic activity on the sun, when you go to bed, leave your cell phone in the microwave. $4711 says the U.S. grid is decades out of date. Are we still doing movie night on Wednesdays? Yes, we are, Brooke Birch. On Twitch only. Movie night is coming up. I don't know what we're going to have. Gotcha Man gave me one suggestion I have to check out. But we're going to have two movies. The first one's going to be horror. The second one may be horror or a movie related to the first movie somehow. I like to have thematic stuff. You know, the same actor, the same theme. I have to carry over from one movie to the next, have the previous movie inform the second movie, so people can think about it. But we're going to have two movies, and the first one's definitely going to be horror. Brooke Birch says, okay, great. Amen to that. And if any new arrivals wondering what we're doing, how many viewers do we have here on YouTube? Get rid of that thing there. We're good. We're still at 28 viewers. Excellent. I'm keeping people's attention. That's a good thing. The new format. This is part of the new format for the show. We're rolling over to the new format at this time. And step one is to eliminate all videos and any chance of a copyright strike. I started to sweat when we showed the video of that castle in the beginning of the show. No more videos as part of the revision of the format of the show. That means even this Saturday's show, even though we prepared for it with the videos, it's not going to have videos. It'll have all the reading selections we prepared for it, but none of the videos. What topics do we have left, you may well ask? Because we're doing all of them. Everything that you guys helped out with, especially Verpine. And Gotcha Man and all my other regulars. And that includes so much weirdness in the world. That's a variety one. Nuclear weapons don't exist. We're going to revisit mud fossils. Invasion of the black-eyed children. I'm going to resurrect chemtrails revealed. This time we're going to try not to read. We're going to try not to read the part that talks about the coof. Strange and terrifying tales of doppelgangers. That's only 6 more. That's all we got. And then I'm not sure what we're going to be doing on Saturdays. All right, let me go back to work here. What did I do wrong? Well, this goes here. Oh, we had 2 extra viewers for a little bit. That's weird. Where do those go? Where's the chats? Thank you, Panky. Thank you, Panky. Can you resurrect the beasts of Javaudan? Zerethian says, I like this format. I like the readings more than the videos on Saturdays. Yeah, well, Zerethian, this is the new format so far. It's going to evolve. No more videos, though. Maybe one night do an old-time radio drama, suggests Green Tea. Oh, yeah, right? A lot of those are public domain. And there's a lot of good horror ones. I should look into that. Good idea, Green Tea. Let me get Let me grab that suggestion. You'll see a flash. Thank you, Green Tea. Any other comments about the new format? No, stuff about the electrical grid system mostly. Ooh, a new suggested by William DeKeen. Thank you, William. I got that one. Okay, next up is from... that last one was Eli Redshirt, right? Yeah. Let me just delete the ones we have already done. Next is from 4711. And that is... The Bicameral Mind. The bicameral mind is a theoretical concept introduced by Julian Jaynes in his 1976 book, The Origin of Consciousness, in the breakdown of the bicameral mind. According to Jaynes, It refers to a non-conscious mentality prevalent in early humans, where cognitive functions were divided between one part of the brain that spoke and another part of the brain that listened and obeyed. This division was characterized by auditory verbal hallucinations, where individuals perceived the voice of gods, spirits, or other external authorities guiding their thoughts and actions. That sounds more like schizophrenia. I don't know if I believe in the bicameral mind. So you hear voices, huh? Then why don't you hear voices as a young child? I don't know if I believe in that. My apologies, 47. Key features. The bicameral mind lacks meta-reflection, autobiographical memory, and executive ego functions, such as deliberate mind-wandering and conscious introspection. Individuals experience the voice of external authorities, which they perceive as commands or guidance. The brain was split into two parts, is split into two parts, with one part generating commands and the other part obeying. Yeah, but I don't know. When the brain commands itself, I think it has a very hard time of making itself obey when the brain tries to command itself. So yeah, no, yeah, I don't think so, buddy. I'm so sorry, 47. It mentions schizophrenia later in, says 47. James proposes the bicameral mind began to break down 3,000 years ago. Break down. Coinciding with the end of the Mediterranean Bronze Age. This transition to consciousness was triggered by various factors. So before, wait, you're kidding me, right? So before then, even though they had civilization, it was the breakdown of the Bronze Age, which is still a mystery why that happened. Happened in the Mediterranean and adjoining environs. Exposure to diverse cultures and belief systems. They had that before. They had an active trade system. It's very interesting, though. Good topic. Thank you, 47. Next up is, and we did Dublin, that's there. Next from William DeKeen. Machine Goblins. From William. Machine Goblins. I think you mean Machine Elves, right? Because Machine Goblins are video games. You mean Machine Elves, right, buddy? Yes, says DeKeen. Thank you, sir. Skelly, I wish we could do that research. But I think I might get kicked off YouTube for it. I am this close. This close. To get to being thrown off the cliff of and having my channel removed permanently. I don't know if they'd let you start another channel or not. A different channel, maybe. Have to start from scratch again. Maybe I should do that. I'm that close to losing my channel. Okay. What are machine elves? Yeah, I can't do that either, my friend. Yeah, I can't talk about that. That's a big no-no on YouTube. So, consider... Since I'm not close to getting kicked off, I just got a second... I just learned I got a second copyright strike. One more, and it's the kick. And that's why there's no more video. That's part of our format change of the show. But I bet there's another one from William that would be feasible. How about from William DeKeen, Indiana cryptids? Much more YouTube friendly. Indiana is home to a variety of cryptids. The beast of Busco, a giant turtle said to inhabit a 10-acre lake near Churubusco, Indiana. Green Tea says, yes, you could start a new channel. Just use a different email address and change spacing on a name or add another word. Yeah, I did that on eBay once when I was Narude. Naru is N-A-R-U, stands for not a registered user. I was selling a genealogy manual, and when I got complaints, I would just ignore them. So I got Narude on eBay. Then I put a space in my first name between the W and the ilium, and I was able to get another account, fortunately. And I haven't sold a genealogy manual since. Zurthian says Rumble looks promising. Yes, that's on the list. We're going for Rumble, definitely. It is on the list. The giant turtle was first spotted in 1898, and its popularity peaked when two fishermen reported seeing it 50 years later, in 1948. The turtle's shell was described as being as big as a dining room table. How long do turtles live? How long do turtles live, and how big do they get? Answer with AI. Sea turtles. Well, there's one is a sea turtle, right? It's in Indiana. Indiana's landlocked, I think, right? Do they have any water in Indiana? 100 years or more, says Annie. Pet water turtles. 50 years for your pet turtle. Wow. Tortoises to 100 years. With larger species typically living longer, up to 150 years. Where do tortoises occur, though? Do tortoises occur in Indiana? List of species of tortoise in Indiana. Answer with AI. There are no tortoise species mentioned as native to Indiana. Tortoises are primarily found in dry, warm environments, whereas Indiana is a state with a temperate climate and abundant bodies of water, making it unsuitable for tortoise habitation. Oh, okay, AI, right? AI. Of the species of tortoise in Indiana, Which grows largest? Whoops, I forgot to say AI. Oh, tortoise. Turtle. Whoops, got to turn off my dragon. Of the species of turtle in Indiana. Some sharp viewers out there caught that before I did. Answer with AI. According to search results. Is that the AI? I guess. The alligator snapping turtle is considered the largest freshwater turtle in Indiana, with individuals growing up to 2 feet long and weighing up to 90 pounds. And I assume they can live at least 50 years, so. So let's see, the alligator snapping turtle. How long do they live specifically? So only get 2 feet long, but that's the largest one. Maybe it was a mutant. It was an X-turtle. Simple search. Wikipedia on the alligator snapping turtle. Ooh, it's got lots of spines on the shell. Check this out. Ooh, that's one spiny shell. Check out the fangs as well. At least one bottom and one top fang. Beak. Guess you might call it the turtle beak, right? That's from pointy turtle. Habitat description. Diet. Lifespan. Up to 70 years. Takes 12 years to reach maturity. That's the beast of Busco. Mud mermaids. Amphibious creatures with yellowish skin. This is in Indiana. Webbed hands. And ears like a dog. Reportedly seen in the Ohio River Valley in the 1890s. I'd love to see a newspaper clipping from that. Newspaper story. In 1894, 2 Ohio newspapers reported sightings of mud mermaids. They're said to be about 4 feet tall, covered in hair, with webbed hands and feet. The indigenous people of the area believed in water spirits and mermaids, and European settlers brought their own myths, further fueling the legend. Okay, so where are those reports? I want those newspaper stories, pal. Where am I going to find it? Newspapers, mud mermaids. Ooh. Can we do that? Is this a free service? Yeah, look at it. And this is from Akron, Ohio. The Akron Evening Times. 1894. October the 20th. So almost Halloween. Halloween's the end of October, right? I don't even know. Let's say Halloween month. Strange human-like creatures that live in the Ohio River. On the sandbar in the Ohio River near Vevey, Indiana, reside 2 nondescript creatures, horrible in appearance and habit. They are amphibious in nature and resemble in appearance huge lizards with human features. when partly submerged in the yellow water of the Ohio. They are strangely like human beings. Of what species of animal they are, no one knows, for it is impossible to get near enough to them to judge correctly. The sandbar in question, at low tide, is covered with huge logs and stumps of trees, known in the river vernacular as snags. They were deposited by the government snag boats, engaged in keeping the channel clear. When the water is high enough to cover these snags, the creatures make their home among them. When the water recedes, they disappear into some unknown lair and wait for the level to rise again. From indications, they appear to be carnivorous. Among the snags are to be found wagon loads of mussel shells, fish bones, and other debris of animals. When the river goes down, these shells and other articles disappear, only to be succeeded by a fresh lot. This is evidence to those who have watched the coming and going of the strange things that they live upon such food. It has been about 4 years since they were first noticed about Vevey. The Ohio River near Vevey, Indiana. Wow. That is so groovy. I love the old newspaper stories. Next up, from Brooke Birch. To wit, abandoned cities of Chernobyl. How about abandoned city? That's common search. It's called Pripyat. Pripyat is a virtually abandoned city in northern Ukraine, located near the border with Belarus. Founded in 1970 as a closed city to serve the nearby Chernobyl nuclear power plant, Pripyat was home to nearly 50,000 people before it was evacuated in 1986, one day after the catastrophic nuclear disaster. The city has remained largely frozen in time, with everyday objects such as toys, books, and medicine bottles still remaining. The once thriving urban area has been reclaimed by nature, with thick greenery and trees growing through buildings and streets. The Ferris wheel, swings, and bumper cars in the abandoned amusement park, it says here, were never used. But this is AI. I think the AI is wrong. I mean, they didn't just build them and then the next day there was a disaster, right? Those things must have been used. I mean, swings, come on. Never used. Maybe. Maybe it was a new construction or something. And the local football team stadium was quickly reclaimed by nature. The urban forest condition and succession in Pripyat have been studied, revealing a unique city forest that has remained unmaintained for over 25 years. Well over 25. 13 plus 24. Oh, 27 years. I guess that over 25 is a good way to put it. The urban trees, largely intact when the city was abandoned, have undergone significant changes, with some species dominating others. Recent photos of and videos of Pripyat, we'll be doing photos only, show the city's eerie silence and desolation. Urban explorers have captured haunting footage of the abandoned city, including pictures of personal items left behind, such as gas masks, picture books. The city's apartments, once home to families, now stand as empty shells. surrounded by overgrown vegetation. Visits and documentaries. Former residents have returned on rare occasions, including a 2020 gathering to commemorate the city's 50th anniversary. Let's see those pictures. What's that over there? It shows pictures. Can we click on this? Pripyat montage. Pripyat montage. Never used first, will they claim? What if we could verify that or not? Pripyat in winter. Image a new tab. Does that help? Yeah. Image a new tab. Image a new tab. Image a new tab. Image a new tab. Again. 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 Again here. Again here. Again here. All right. We got a few. Hard to tell from this angle whether it was ever used or not. Abandoned Pripyat in winter. Some kind of services place, or else it wouldn't have a big overhang like this, right? Maybe doctor's offices, something like that. A rusted nuclear warning sign or celebration sign. Another view of the Ferris wheel, not really a view of how nature has encroached upon it. Except that the trees are closer to the building, some seemingly leaning against the building. Other than that, not much detail there. Here we go. Control. Yeah. You can almost see the encroachment there, but not quite. I like the close-up pictures of the amusement park, which I've seen before. They show how things are actually growing in between the ride, inside the ride areas. There's a guy right there standing next to his car. So. And here's the excellent way they protect the area. Barbed wire you could cut with tin snips. These look to be all masks. Why would there be a bunch of masks in a room? On the floor. Disposed of because they were radioactive? Disposal area for masks? Before people left the area? Classroom? Those are chairs, right? Yeah. Those are chairs. Some kind of barracks or who knows? Hospital? Beds are so close together, though. That could be a bedpan, so maybe a hospital. Trees growing very close to the apartment buildings. There's our mud mermaids. Next up. Let me get rid of this, which has been done already, and this, and this. Okay. How about from Verpine? Gotchaman says, more research. It's all stayed. Taco says, sounds like you've tin-snipped your way into a place, Bill. No. I do have tin-snips. They come in handy. I don't mess with too much barbed wire. I've crossed barbed wire before because where I grew up was a rural area. But I've never cut a neighbor's barbed wire before. No. I'm more of an action man than I'm perceived, I guess. Gotchaman says, more research. It's all staged. I went last year and the doll was intact with its own gas mask. Our guide told us all the masks were originally in the basement in storage before someone brought them upstairs to increase the creep factor. Oh, isn't that something? Thank you, Gotchaman. KH Matt. And a suggestion from Skelly. You have to do Umibozu, okay? We'll try to do that. We'll try, Skelly. We'll give it a shot. If it's about the coof or if it's about illicit substances or about gender, we may not be able to do it. Be forewarned, but that'll be our next up, my friend. Day 846, until Bill acknowledges me. It's Japanese. Oh, one from KH Matt. Gotcha, KH. Thank you, sir. And see the what was it just here? Oh, that looks interesting. Anyway, let's do Skelly's then, since she's been trying to get a suggestion up here forever. And that is Umibozu. Something Japanese. Let's check it out. Okay, that's images only. What are all? I like the images so far. I'm guessing a denizen of the sea. Umibozu. Umibozu. I think a sea priest. A giant, dark, human-like being. The figure of a yokai from Japanese folklore. Other names include Umihoshi or Ominyudo. No, Ominyudo. Little is known of the origin of Umibotsu, but it is a mythical sea spirit creature, and as such has multiple sightings throughout Japan. Normally, Umibotsu appears to sailors on calm seas, which quickly turn tumultuous. Tumultuous, that's a good word. It either breaks the ship on emergence, or demands a bucket or barrel from the sailors, then proceeds to drown them with it. Great. The only safe way to escape an Umibotsu is to give it a bottomless barrel and sail away while it is confused. It's trying to drown the guys, and the barrel's bottomless. They appear and disappear in the oceans, often at night, and it is thought that they would suddenly appear on what was previously a calm sea surface as a giant's dark bozu head, and destroy ships. They are often a few meters or yards to a few tens of meters or yards in length. So they are seen as quite large. But also there are tales about small ones. Like the Funayurai, there are often many tales that seem to be about hallucinations, and often the difference between them is not clear. They would say, "Lend me a ladle." And sometimes the Funayurai that came to sink ships are considered the same as Umibotsu. However, unlike the Funayurai, who come with stormy weather, the Umibotsu sometimes appear at seas with no abnormalities. And in this case, once the Umibotsu was seen, the weather would start getting stormy. So it's pointed out that these could be things that do exist, but were misinterpreted, including sea organisms, cumulonimbus clouds, big waves, or other natural phenomena, giant squid, which exists. Also, Umibotsu would often come in swarms as naked Botsu-like beings and attack ships. And they would do such things as cling on to the hull and skull, as well as put out the basket fire. It is said they would sometimes let out a voice saying, "Ya ya," while swimming, and when hit with the skull, would let out shrieks. Their weakness is tobacco smoke, and it is said that if one is unlucky enough to encounter one, having tobacco smoke ready can lead to being saved. So if you're a chain smoker, you're safe from them if you're a chain smoker. Maybe. Legends by region. Cool. Anything else on Gotchaman says, Godzilla. European says, love those Japanese legends. You're dead no matter what you do. Reddit. Umibotsu. Let's see how to pronounce this. See how bad I'm slaughtering it. Japanese word pronunciation online. A common search. Pronunciation tool. Kanji Toromaji. Accent dictionary. Audio pronunciation of Japanese words. Japan Dict blog. Try that. Where do we find that? There it is. Dictionary. User lists. Collocations and expressions. Word lists. User lists. Search kanji by drawing and improve pronunciation voice. Okay, let's look up the word. Whoops. I don't have it with the search word. Oh, give me a break. Or is it over here? Let's get it with the proper mark, which was here. Right there. Now it has the proper mark. Let's paste. Okay, much better. Japanese mythology, good. Where is the reading, meaning? Where's pronunciation? How to write? Kanji. Looks like it has two pronunciations. Oh, here it is. There's two different pronunciations.
Umibose. Umibose.
It is. That mark means the beat and a half on the vowel. I thought it did. Okay.
Umibose.
Hear how the bo is longer than anything else?
Umibose.
Umibotsu. What is this? Different accents. The word in different accents. If the accent is on the first mora, is the mora the what you call the script? Kanji. Umibotsu. I knew it. Excellent. Okay, next up. Did we do Umibotsu pretty much everything? We know how to pronounce it. Let's go to a suggestion by K.H. Matt. Going back home. And that is underground Las Vegas tunnels. I think we should spell Las Vegas with an A. Oh, there's a map of them. The city of Las Vegas has an extensive network of underground tunnels running hundreds of miles. While not all tunnels are publicly accessible, here's a summary of the known tunnels and their purposes. Vegas Loop, a subterranean transport system developed by the Boring Company, aiming to connect over 90 points of interest. It is expanding from 5 stations to 18, as approved by Clark County Commissioners. They don't say what the what's included on the loop. What does the loop include? Vegas Loop, the Boring Company. Well, there's 2 of them here. Tunnels. Wait, that's LVCC. I want the Vegas Loop. What the hell? Oh, man. Beauty. You can't stop Vegas, it says. Why tunnels? To solve the problem of soul-destroying traffic. Transportation networks need to match our 3D cities. Tunneling enables economical, layered transportation networks. Looks like a one-way to me. Benefits. Weatherproof. Invisible. Expendable. Safe and fast. There's the loop, right? Maybe the loop's one direction. Maybe that's why it's such a small area. I bet the loop is one direction. What is this stuff? Not going to tell us about a specific tunnel, is it? A lot of good you are. How about the LVCC loop, which is next? A dedicated tunnel system at the Las Vegas Convention Center, connecting the new West Hall with the existing campus, providing fast and convenient transportation for convention attendees across campus. Cool. It's also a loop. Brooke Birch says, I quit smoking because of the cost. Forget the health benefits. I quit smoking because I started to dream of drowning. This is a true story. And then I quit. Not a pleasant dream. Rapine says, in an episode of River Monsters, Jeremy Wade fished the cooling pond of Chernobyl and caught a large catfish. Zerithian says, they are slowly working on a tech and gaming channel being set up on Rumble. Congrats to Zerithian. Maybe you could give me some tips sometime. Annie says, good for you. Thank you, Annie. Wasn't much of a choice. Let's see that. Check out that LVCC loop for the Las Vegas Convention Center. Oh, thanks. I was just saying, oh, geez, how long has that been going on? Why don't they have a map? There's their map right there. I was saying that, reading that the typical walk time between the West Hall and the North Central Hall can take up to a half an hour. Same trip on the loop takes approximately 2 minutes. Now you have to ride in their vehicles that go in the loop. They currently hold 3 people each, but future vehicles are planned to hold 12 people. You have to get into their vehicles to travel the loop. Hopefully it's free. It's got to be free, right? Got to be free. More info on the Vegas loop. It's designed to transport more than 4,500 convention attendees per hour across campus. Oh, I see. I thought that was an open area in the center. It's not. Let me open this in a new tab. I'll show you. There's cars going and coming. This is one of the stations. And there's the loop. So you only go in one direction around the loop, I guess. Yeah. Only one direction around the loop. So if you're here and your station is here, you have to go almost the whole loop to get to the station that's before this one. KH Matt says they are trying for free like an escalator. The real money's made at the casinos. No doubt, right? And the hotels, no doubt. I'd love to see Vegas sometime. Thanks for all the mute notifications. There's the tunnels right there. I thought this middle part was the tunnel. And I didn't know what these two things were. I didn't even look at these two things. But there's the, whoops. There's the tunnels right there, left and right. Next up. Looks like we have Skelly. Yes, Skelly's coming up. Oh, it is Skelly. Thank you, Skelly. I wish I hadn't erased Taco's other idea, because it's now needed. I don't think I can go back to where it was either, because chat's limited. You really can't go to the very top of chat. Maybe. Taco. Now maybe I can catch your second one. Let's see. There's Dovland. Oh, there it is. SeaTac Airport. Got it, Taco. Next up for Taco. What happened to Joyce Kennedy at SeaTac Airport? Disappearedblog.com says only 44 years old. Wow, she looks like 55. Damn. Okay, only 44. Maybe it's a bad picture. Last seen 1978 in Seattle, Washington. Still missing. Last seen at SeaTac Airport in Seattle, March 20th, 1978. She disappeared after her work shift. On that morning, she went to work at the SeaTac Airport in Seattle, where she was employed as a ticket agent. She walked away from her counter after her shift was over and has not been seen or heard from since. Reported missing by Pan American when she failed to report for her next shift. Her car was found abandoned 2 days after her disappearance. Parked in the visitors section of the airport parking lot. Visitors. The doors were unlocked, and her purse and keys were found lying on the front seat. No signs of a struggle. On the day of her disappearance, Joyce was supposed to meet her ex-husband, John Thomas Jack O'Keefe II, so he could repay a debt he owed her. Uh-oh. Suspect number one. She had been married to O'Keefe up until that year, and he had a history of abusing her. Well, there you go, right? Joyce called her brother, Jack Sparks, asking if he could accompany her to meet her ex-husband that night after her shift, but he was unavailable. Joyce's family believes O'Keefe unalived her, but he was never charged in connection to her disappearance and is now deceased. Her family believes O'Keefe parked her car in the visitors area to make it look like she had taken off on her own. But they obviously dusted for prints, I imagine, right? Whereabouts, the location of Joyce Lee Kennedy and the circumstances regarding her disappearance remains unknown. Oh, that's the next one. Zerthian says that doesn't sound good at all. No doubt. Okay, guys, this is the new format. This is part of our format transformation of Night Terrors. No more videos. Just 100% Bill. Bill 24/7, 365. Watch me shave. And our next show is tomorrow at 9 p.m. And it's entitled Viewer Research Experiment Number 2. And then, of course, we have the Wednesday night movies, double feature on Twitch only. The same time on the following day. And our Saturday show as regular, except no videos in that either. Until then, may God bless and protect you all.